Once, an engine attached to a train was afraid of a few drops of rain. It went into a tunnel and squeaked through it.
Edward, the blue engine, runs a branch line from Wellsworth to Brendam. Boko also works on this line, and the two often get help from Donald and Douglas. When he's not taking the express all the way from Knapford, he takes the simple commuter to Brendam from Wellsworth with a stop at Sudbury. Edward likes this run because he gets to take his orange coaches, which are very special to him. Every day after pulling the branch line express, he comes to the carriage shed at Wellsworth to collect them. He always says hello, and the coaches are very happy to be with him. They have had many adventures with him, including the time he fought through a storm. Though they are old and were beginning to deteriorate. The Fat Controller knew this and spoke to Edward one morning.
Your orange coaches are in desperate need of repair, so tomorrow they will go to the works for a much-needed overhaul.
"What will I pull in the meantime?" asked Edward. The Fat Controller smiled.
Well, we've just brought some new, very modern coaches on trial, and I'd like you to try them out.
Edward was worried. He didn't want the Fat Controller to replace his orange coaches with the new ones. The next day, Donald took his coaches to the works.
"Goodbye, Edward,"
said the coaches. Edward smiled. "Take care. I do hope you're fixed soon." But deep down, he wondered if he would ever see them again. However, when the new coaches arrived, he forgot to be worried and was astonished. Gordon and James had their eyes glued.
Just look at these. Absolutely magnificent,
purred Gordon.
"Yes, indeed,"
agreed James. Edward backed down onto them.
"Oh dear,"
they spluttered.
"A steam engine! How could this day get any worse?"
Edward was shocked by this statement, but simply carried on.
Well,
"What are your names?" he said awkwardly as he left with the first passenger train.
"Beverly and Jennifer,"
they scoffed.
"We are built for commuter service on the main line, not dirty steam."
But before they could finish, Edward went around a sharp bend off the main line, and there was a terrible squeak. Screamed the coaches.
"That bend is too tight. This railway is rubbish."
"You could say that again," murmured Edward's driver. "These coaches aren't built for sharp bends." The journey was a struggle. Beverly and Jennifer's brakes were fidgety, which made starting up again extremely difficult. When Edward arrived at the docks, he was exhausted. Boko was there.
hello, Edward. You look very worn out.
"I'm fine," panted Edward.
Just getting used to these new coaches.
"Quite a weak fellow,"
scoffed Jennifer.
"Quite so,"
added Beverly.
"Let's see if he can get us back before Christmas."
Boko was very cross.
Absolutely horrid,
he murmured. Every time Edward took the coaches out, they complained and made the journey very difficult. But Edward ignored them and tried to carry on. Every time they go past the bend, they would squeak and squeal. And every time at the station, it was a huge struggle to get going again. Edward pressed on, but eventually his coupling was worn from the weight.
You better have a break. So Donald should do your work from now,
said the Fat Controller. So Donald took over. And unlike Edward, he was very easily irritated. So when the coaches started complaining, he spoke back.
Hush! No one cares about your problems!
"How dare you speak to a lady like that?"
snapped Jennifer.
"You filthy Scot!"
Donald was very offended. He banged the coaches hard. The rest of the journey was not nice at all. Neither was the journey back. Then, as they approached the sharp bend, there was trouble. Donald was so angry he wasn't paying attention and was going too fast. By the time he realized, it was too late, and Instead of a shriek, there was a crack as the coaches came off the rails.
You morons! Look what you did!
What we did? You did this, you contemptible buffoon!
The three squabbled like chickens, even when Douglas came for the breakdown train. The Fat Controller was very cross, and he spoke to Donald that evening. "I'm very sorry, sir. It's just that those coaches were extremely vulgar."
"I know that, Donald,"
said the Fat Controller.
"They won't be on this railway any more, that's for sure. But you should have had better control over your anger."
Donald felt foolish. "How do you do it, Edward?" he asked.
"Do what?"
replied Edward. "Ignore those coaches. How do you put up with yon devils?" Edward smiled.
"I just pretend like they're not there at all. You'll find that there are many stupid people or engines or coaches in the world who say really mean things. But what they think doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how you react. You can get into a fight and make things worse, or you can simply ignore them, which will make them look like an even bigger idiot."
But before Edward could continue, Duck bustled in, pulling some shiny new orange coaches.
"I believe these are for you, Edward."
Edward gasped.
"Oh my goodness! Are those my coaches?" "Yes, indeed,"
chuckled the Fat Controller.
"All spick and span. I promise you, you will never have to put up with nasty coaches ever again."
"Hello, Edward," said the coaches. "We are pleased to have you back." Edward smiled.
"So am I. Very pleased."